Jai Mataji. I'm Hetal Brahmbhatt, learning and sharing. I'd like to welcome all of you to the learning series on education for a new consciousness. We'll get started by invoking Mother using this prayer. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matrurupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mera Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Jai Mataji. Today I'm so thankful that the world has made significant advancements in technology. And it is because of technology that we are able to share information with others across the world. And YouTube has been a great medium for all of us to do that. You know, when I was looking up technological advancements, I realized that the birth date of internet was 1983. And that is only slightly over 40 years back. If you think about it, that's not a long time at all. I remember when I was younger, it was a privilege to have computers. And nowadays, everyone has a computer. And as these technologies have advanced, parents have also been faced with new challenges. You know, one of the common concerns that I see with parents these days is what is the right age to give a child access to phones and tablets? And the concern is that if they give it to them too early, then the children end up spending too much time on them, and there's a risk of their eyesight being affected. But there's also a concern in the other direction, which is if you don't give it to them, then they're just going to be left behind in school because every aspect of the learning these days is occurring through the technology. And if you take a look at this situation, you will eventually realize that no matter how much you want to avoid giving technology to children, at some point you just have to give in. And the learning that we have is that we have to change with the timings. So I'd like you to keep this in mind as I share the remaining content. You see, the changes that we see today are not just advancements in technology. We're also seeing changes in the human species. Scientists have come up with these amazing categories for the people that have been born, and we're either classified as baby boomers, millennials, Gen Z, and the list goes on. And what we're seeing is that children who are born just 10 to 15 years apart have significantly different views on things and approaches to life. And I've also heard people say that, children these days are so smart. Well, guess what? Yes, they are, and there's a reason for this. So we have to start bringing awareness around why we're seeing all of this happening right now in the world. Sri Aurobindo came to Earth to let everyone know that the stage that mankind is in right now is what is a transition stage. We are transitioning to a new species, and it is through this transitioning process that we're going to see the birth of a new world. Dolores Cannon, who is the wonderful lady who introduced QHHT to the world, she calls this the coming of the new age through her hypnotherapy work. Diana Cooper, the author who has written lots of books based on information provided to her by her guardian angels, calls this as the coming of the golden age. Now we also see famous personalities like Deepak Chopra, who is considered to be the new age guru, who talks about the coming of a new species. So the question is, what is this new species? According to Sri Aurobindo, we're going to witness the coming of some intermediary species forms, and eventually they will transition to this final species, which he calls as a Superman. And this species will be different than what we are today. Now, just the same way, we're very similar to apes, but we're not apes. In the same way, the Superman will be different from what man is today. The Superman will be a being in which the divine is manifesting his qualities and attributes. And so I see this as essentially a divine human being. Often, when we speak about things in the future, there's always a thought that will cross one's mind. Why should I care? Especially because if you look at evolution has taken so long and our lifespans on Earth are really short. But this time, things are going to be different. It won't take very long because Mother and Sri Aurobindo have already started the work to initiate these changes. And these changes are happening at a larger level. I'm going to share an example of a situation which all of you will be able to relate to in a similar context. You have someone in your family who just needs to exercise more. And you've been trying to tell them that they need to get out there and exercise, but they simply won't listen to you. Now, one day you'll see that somebody comes from the outside and says exactly the same thing in a slightly different way. And all of a sudden, this family member listens to them. Now here, you're frustrated because you say, I've been saying the same thing and you're not listening to me, but somebody from the outside came in and brought about this change. And this is exactly what's happening right now. The changes will happen faster because they're coming from the outside. And the way they're coming from the outside is through the birth of the children. See, right now, souls are coming in to help Earth with this transition. Dinah Cooper said in her book that every child born after 2012 was bringing in a special ability to help with this change. So this means that we have to prepare for this. We have to start working on ourselves, and we have to prepare the children of tomorrow. Mother asked a question, are you willing to collaborate? She's giving you a choice, and if you agree, then the transition to the next species will be faster. If you choose not to agree, that's okay. It will happen with time eventually. And just like the example that I gave with technology, at some point or the other, you will have to keep up with change. And so the main focus of this podcast series will be to understand the changes that are happening and understand how we can prepare ourselves and we can prepare the children. That brings us to the end of this session. Thank you for listening. In the next episode, we will take a closer look at the transition into the next species. See you in the next episode. Jai Mataji.